Howdy everybody, my name is Frank Salas. I go by the name The Talented Mr. Salas. And in this video, I want to share with you my personal journey on how I became a location independent entrepreneur, also known as a digital nomad. A digital nomad is more of a lifestyle and a trend with millennials who are really tired of working a 9-to-5, being in an office. I'm not sure if you guys know, but Amazon just had self-flying drones that deliver packages. McDonald's just released self-servicing cashiers. So all these menial jobs are going by the wayside, and there is no longer any type of pension plans for us. We saw the Great Recession, which our parents lost their homes, they lost cars, they lost money in the stock market, and we're not guaranteed 40 years at a job, a gold watch, and a retirement plan. So we've really got to we've been forced to fend for ourselves. And all throughout growing up, I was born in 1987. Every single year in school, every one of my teachers says that we would never, ever, ever receive Social Security. Social Security was designed for the early 1900s, and there's no way it could have a viable economical lifeline in the new millennium. So this leaves us millennials with a few different options. Number one, we can start our own companies. Number two, we could work for somebody else and kind of bounce around for jobs and go here and there. And that's kind of what most people are doing. They're going, 2 to 5 years and bouncing around from companies to companies. You don't see people who are at companies for 7 years or longer, especially in the millennial market. And everybody who's a millennial has a side hustle. Everybody who is a millennial is always trying to do something extra or do something else on the side. And a lot of millennials are attracted to making money online because it is a brand new marketplace. You have to realize the internet is only about 20 years old. Most people don't know how to use it. Most people don't know what it is outside of, ordering stuff from Amazon, which we spoke about earlier, being on social networks. And speaking of social networks, social media and social networking is one of the ways that I've been able to connect and expand my business influence circle, connect with investors, connect with people in my industry. And I just want to share my story on how I became a location independent entrepreneur. So I'm a realtor out in the great state of Texas, and I'm doing very, very well. My first year, I did 100 transactions. And for those of you guys who are not in the real estate industry, most realtors never break the double digits. They might sell like 5 or 6 houses a year. I broke 100 transactions my first year. I was doing really, really, really good. I was making all this money, and I was doing dumb stuff that people in their mid-20s do. But then I realized, I was like, you know what? I'm really good at this, but I'm gonna be stuck in my city that I practice in. I was in Austin, Texas. And I did that for a few years, and I made a very, very, very comfortable living. But honestly, I wasn't happy. I wanted to travel. I wanted to work less. I was always working on the weekends. I remember being at brunch on a date with this really, really just amazing girl, and I would get phone calls. I'd have to leave, whatever I was doing to go handle that. And I was like, you know what? Even though I'm good at this, I don't want to do this. So I did that for a few years, and in July of 2015, I just told myself, look, this is my last year selling homes and being stuck in my really awesome city of Austin, Texas, selling homes with a really great company, Remax. I said, this is the last time I'm gonna be stuck doing this. I don't wanna do this anymore. And I've always wanted to go and make money online, but I've never just done it. So in the real estate business, we have a seasonal business. And I wrote down on my calendar on October 1st of 2015, I wrote down that I was going to start this whole social media thing. And there was a new application that came out called Periscope. Now, for those of you guys who don't know what Periscope is the live streaming function of Twitter. And I just started going on there and going live and, broadcasting a live video and connecting with people. And, people liked what I was saying, but I didn't really have any way for people to work with me, so I just started giving people business advice. It went very, very well, and actually it went so well, in fact, that I put myself in the hospital because I had so many people from all over the world contact me, hire me for consulting, hire me for services that I was offering at the time, and I didn't sleep for 3 days. I didn't eat, I didn't drink water because I just had back-to-back phone calls from all over the world. I mean, people from Germany, Australia, the Philippines, South Africa, UK, Canada, Latin America, all over the world. People were trying to get next to me and connect with me. And I didn't sleep for 3 days. I put myself in the hospital, and I knew that I was onto something, but I needed to take care of myself. And life was really precious, and I really wanted to see the world. So in October of 2015, I figured out the whole social media thing and how to monetize that. And I teach a lot of curriculum on that. But this video is on how I became a digital nomad. So in January of 2015, I decided that I was going to start selling my stuff. Like most people right now have a really fancy laptop, a really fancy desktop, a super huge TV, a nice IKEA sofa, nice dishes, and all this stuff that they just don't really use. A nice car, everyone's trying to get the new BMW or the Mercedes whatever class and trying to keep up with each other. I decided that I was going to sell my car, I was going to sell my vehicle, and I sold all my furniture. I donated a lot of my clothes, and the clothes that I didn't donate, I just sold them. I just got rid of them, and I got everything down into a suitcase and said, you know what, I'm gonna live out of a suitcase for a year and see how that works out. At the time of this recording, it is December 16th, 2016, and I made these decisions on January 1st of 2016. So let me tell you how my year went. For January, I went out to a conference for the Periscope Summit Conference out in San Francisco. I met a lot of amazing people in my industry, in my social media industry, and then I connected with a lot of people there. Immediately after that, I went to the Philippines for 3 months. I was there from January until April. And I was building up my social media practice and making money online and just getting that set up. I mean, doing business online just takes time. And that's what I did. I decided to spend my time over there, and I realized a few things. First and foremost, I was busting my ass off in America to have nice things and to get cool things like massages and shaves and haircuts and nice clothes and nice condos with nice views and take girls out to nice dinners and just all this stuff. And I realized that, man, America is one of the most expensive places in the entire freaking world. And I could live like a king almost anywhere else in the world. And in the Philippines, I was balling out, man. I was living like a king, getting massages about 4 to 6 times a week, eating out every meal at nice restaurants. And my monthly expenses was that less than my rent in Austin, Texas, than my mortgage in Austin, Texas. So I would live like a king in the Philippines for 1,500 US American dollars, getting everything, nice condo, driven around, maid service. It was just insane. And my quality of life actually improved. I wasn't worrying about my bills. I wasn't worrying about, who am I going to impress and blah, blah, blah. And do I have the latest car? Do I have the latest phone? I just lived out of a suitcase, and I realized that I was rich. And most people, if you're in a first world country, you're rich. You are rich beyond your wildest dreams. You just probably live in a really, really, really expensive area. And the reason that you live in an expensive area is you probably have a job there. You probably have some ties there. Maybe you have friends, maybe you have family, maybe you're married, maybe you have some kids. Like, I feel you, I don't have any kids, but like I can get that. I got 10 brothers and sisters all over the world, and I can pick that up. I understand that. So I realized that when I was abroad, I had the same exact comforts that I had in my home. I had Wi-Fi, we had Netflix, I could watch the basketball games, I could watch the baseball games, I could watch all these things, and I didn't really miss out. If I miss somebody, I could just pick up my phone and FaceTime them, or give them a call on Snapchat, or give them a call on Facebook and do a video chat or a Skype call, and we could have the same conversation. Now the trick was, how do I make money to fund my lifestyle? Thankfully, I have a lot of systems and processes in place in my business. I generate leads through social media for my multiple businesses that allow me to generate revenue in US American dollars. And with those US American dollars, I can then spend pesos in the Philippines and live like a king. So I was earning dollars, but spending pesos. And I read about that in Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Workweek. And I always, I'd always done it because I had always outsourced to the Philippines, but I didn't really experience that lifestyle. In the Philippines, I had a driver, I had a security guard. Security guards in the Philippines, it's $200. I'm talking to a guy like a goon, just a guy with a machine gun, just like follows you around, hey, clear the way. I mean, that's not a bad living. You live in a nice condo, you get a maid. A maid costs $10 a week. If you want a live-in maid, a really nice live-in maid costs $100 a month. And man, they'll do everything that you need. Everything that you need, they'll do it. I even taught my maid how to make tortillas, just like I like them. So that was in January. From January to April, I was in the Philippines. And when I was in the Philippines, I learned a lot just about money, about how to do business online, and I really lived that lifestyle. I came back to Austin and I started selling homes again to generate some revenue for my real estate practice. I also had some clients that I've been working with and I wanted to finalize that. And I was planning to work the real estate business from April to about October. Well, I did very, very well, like I knew I would in the real estate business. But right in August, I realized that I didn't want to be in Austin anymore. It's just, I'd done it all, I'd seen it all. Austin's a great town, but I'd been to all the bars, I'd been to all the parties. I knew everybody, it was cool. But I just wanted more. I wanted to go back to traveling. I wanted new experiences. I wanted to live like a king again. I was like busting my butt and spending all this money. And I remember when I would go get a massage in Austin, it would be like $100 for a massage, which is not a bad price. I'm not complaining about the price, but I was just like, man, for $100 in the Philippines, I could get like 7 or 8 massages for the week for the same price with a tip, or go rent a boat and go island hopping, or just have more experiences. And I knew that my money or my resources would go a lot further and I could have a better quality of life. So I had a conference that I was throwing in Las Vegas, the Growth Hacking Conference. We threw that at the Palms Casino Resort in August. And I spent half of August in Vegas, and that was awesome. I really liked that experience and it was cool. Immediately after that, I went back to the Philippines, and I was in the Philippines from the end of August to Thanksgiving 2016. My job, check this out, my job was to go island hopping. I visited several dozen islands that were barely inhabited, and I was filming courses and filming videos, much like the video that I'm filming right now, to just educate people on the lifestyle, on what's possible, and really serve my tribe and my community to make them aware that everything that you're experiencing right now, like you got to go to school, you got to get a job, you got to get married, you can only travel 6 weeks a year if you're lucky and they pay you for it. Man, you can do whatever you want to do. You don't have to do all that stuff. So let me get back to my year because I want to finish that out. So I came to back home for the holidays. I came back home for Thanksgiving, watched the Cowboys game, hang out with my family. I'm from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And immediately after that, I came down here to Mexico, where I'm currently broadcasting. So I'm in Mexico right now, and I came down to Cancun, spent half of December there, and I'm spending the rest of December here in Playa del Carmen. And the same thing, Mexico's more expensive than the Philippines, but $1 American is 20 pesos over here. So, it's just crazy how people think that they need so much, and they just bust their butt off to have a nice house, to have a nice car, to have whatever other people aren't having, and to just do dumb stuff, man, honestly. Just to do some stupid stuff and to have dumb stuff. Now, here's a lot of people are asking, well, how do you get around? How do you live? Where do you stay? Honestly, I live off of Airbnb and I live off of Uber. If there's no Uber in the city that I'm at, then I'll use the public transit or taxi, and it's great. I mean, I even use the public transit in Austin, Texas. The buses in Austin have Wi-Fi, and a lot of people might be saying, oh, well, I'll never use the bus and blah, blah. And I was one of those people. I was like kind of bougie, not gonna lie. And when I just got uncomfortable a little bit, when I humbled myself, when I listened to my heart instead of my ego, and I realized this is something that I want to do, check this out. I realized that when I was taking public transportation or hiring an Uber or getting in a taxi or a cab, I had my hands free. I wasn't in traffic. And back in 2015, I was in traffic for like 2 to 4 hours per day, and I didn't get anything done. I was just driving. I was doing a very menial job. Driving is very menial. They're even making auto-driving cars right now for Uber, self-driving cars. And, that's something that driving is going to be a thing of the past. And I decided that I was just going to sell my car and enjoy my life. And the time that I save when I'm not driving, I'm on my phone. This phone right now that I'm talking to you guys on, I'm on my phone. And what I'm doing is I'm writing blog posts, which increase my credibility and my publicity in my industry and in my sector as a social media marketer, as an offshore operations specialist in the Philippines, and as a real estate professional in the great state of Texas. So when I'm not driving 2 to 4 hours a day, that's 2 to 4 hours a day that I get back that I can dedicate to serving clients, taking on more clients, writing blog posts, creating content. And much like this video right now, I'm gonna throw it on YouTube and all my other social channels, and guess what? They stay there forever. So when people ask me, Frank, what do you do? I'm gonna send them to this video right here and just break it down to them so they can kind of get an idea or a glimpse of what it is that I do. So moving into 2017, social media and doing business online and even remote working is a great method and a great attraction for a lot of millennials. So even if you have a job and it's not possible for you to leave and travel and do all this and that because you have kids or you've got a wife or whatever limiting beliefs, and I want to make you very aware that you have limiting beliefs in those areas. Those limiting beliefs are going to not serve you, number one, but they're going to keep you where you're at. Like, let's speak to a few of those limiting beliefs. Well, if you have a job and you're not entrepreneurial minded and you're in an employee mindset, you know what? That's okay. I always tell everybody who is an entrepreneur or who wants to be an entrepreneur, hey, are you sure you want to be an entrepreneur? There's a saying about us entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs will work 80 hours for themselves to barely pay the bills to avoid working 40 hours for somebody else to get a salary. And that's super true. I've been self-employed since I was 20 years old. I'm 29 now at the time of this recording. And I've only been balling for like maybe half the time. The rest of the time, I've been paying other employees' bills. I've been paying other employees' taxes, benefits, healthcare, unemployment insurance, rent, utilities for my shops, all this other stuff that I've been paying. And then I barely have enough for myself to even survive. So, being an entrepreneur is hard. You don't get benefits. You don't know if you don't have any security. You have no guarantees of what's going to happen. And it's just really hard. So, if you're looking to be an entrepreneur, just keep that in mind. I always discourage people to become an entrepreneur. And the reason that I do that, because you're going to hear no a lot when you become an entrepreneur. When you ask for money, when you ask for investors, when you ask for flexibility with your vendors, you're going to hear no a lot. And if somebody like me telling you don't do something is going to stop you, you probably weren't meant to be an entrepreneur anyways. So for those of you guys who aren't discouraged, hey, go at it. Being an entrepreneur is amazing. Just keep in mind, it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Now, if you're in an employee mindset, and that's okay, you know what? Sometimes I wish that I was in an employee mindset. I wish I could go someplace, put in my 40 hours, say, thank you, sir. May I have another week of 40 hours? Where's my paycheck? I wish I could be okay with that. But you know what? Being straight up and no disrespect to those people that are okay with being an entrepreneur, I'm not. For me personally, and I know there's a lot of people who are feeling me, and if you're feeling me, leave a comment down below and let me know that I'm not alone. Let me know I'm not crazy. And if you aren't an employee, own up to it. Be like, you know what? I'm an employee mindset. I love having vacation. I love getting paid time off. I love benefits. I love helping other people. I don't really want to deal with the stress. That's okay. I truly wish that I could be you, but I can't. I cannot be okay with that. So, just a little bit on entrepreneurism and entrepreneurship in that realm. Now, for those people who want to become entrepreneurs and they want to be self-employed, I would strongly encourage you to do an online business. My first business was a brick and mortar business, and my rent for my business was $2,000. My payroll was another $7,000. My electricity was $500. All my supplies from my vendors, there's another few thousand. My advertising, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Then I had to pay the state comptroller of the great state of Texas taxes every month on that shit, Just like, damn, everyone's in my pocket. I think there's like a rap song. It's like, why they trying to slip me for my paper? That's how I felt, man. Every time I got a check in, I was the last person to get broken off. So I was like, damn. So I just didn't like that feeling. Now, on the online business, I have no overhead. My overhead is my phone, which I make a one-time investment on. I'm gonna have a phone anyways. I need Wi-Fi or cell phone service. Most people have Wi-Fi and or cell phone service. And then you just need to have value. How do you make people's lives better? For me, I help people make money online. I help people become a digital nomad. I help people market their business through social media. I help people offshore their operations with virtual assistants and a virtual team in the Philippines. I also help people in real estate. I help them find homes. I help them find investment properties and get into development deals. That's how I provide value into the marketplace. I make people's lives better. And if you're thinking about, okay, I want to do this is something I want to do, but I'm not an expert at something. You know what? I'm not an expert at most things that I do. I'm just better at stuff than most people, because in my industry and the industries that I'm in, there's people that are way more knowledgeable, way more experienced, way more credible than I am. I'm just a dude who does yoga by the beach and travels the world, you know, and has funky sunglasses and just keeps it real. Honestly, that's all that I do. And I can talk good. That's it. And I can talk good. So that's it. And by the way, for those of you guys like, oh, well, you can talk good. So I went to Toastmasters